Nelson Mandela Foundation and AfriForum Deputy CEO Ernst Roets will face off again in the Johannesburg South High Court today. This follows a contempt of court application against Roets for tweeting an image of the old South African flag hours after an Equality Court judgment on the public display of the flag. Judge Phineas Mojapelo ruled that the gratuitous display of the old flag amounts to hate speech. AfriForum and Roets are arguing that the tweet was not a gratuitous display of the old flag, but rather a publicly posed question. Well, I'm joined on the phone line now by Nelson Mandela Foundation CEO Mr. Sello Hatang to speak to us more about this case that will be in court today. A very good morning to you, Ntate Sello, and thanks so much for joining us. Maybe if you can speak to us about what informed the foundation's decision to take this matter to court. We saw, just after Roets posted the image of the old South African flag, the foundation didn't take long to say that they would challenge what he had done.
Well, thank you very much and good morning. I think it's important that we actually explain why, as you asked, why we decided to take such a firm line. And part of this firm line that we took was to ensure that South Africans don't believe that the law applies to some and not to others. The very same AfriForum and the very same Roets, he's the one who would be shouting at the top of his voice, on top of rooftops, to say to people that you must obey the decisions of the court and it must be that you obey the rule of law. If white supremacy operates like this, it means that all of us must then listen whenever the likes of AfriForum tell us that you must listen to the courts, but that does not apply to us. That's why we decided that you cannot, after hearing for yourself in court, where the judge said we should try and work together in order for us to try and find a solution to how South Africans deal with the pain that came from our past. And then you tweet in order to mock. You tweet in order to ensure that those who complained about the pain of seeing this flag feel it even more. And I think it's in line with what they said in their court papers, that whenever I, Sello Hatang, see the flag again, I should just reflect about the past that we've come from. I should just let it be. In other words, be strong, young man. Go ahead and just live your life. Whether you feel the pain or not, it doesn't matter. And that's why we took this matter to court.
And Sello, Roets has tried to defend himself, and he's been saying that he was really trying to test, that ruling that was given regarding hate speech. And so he posed the question, is this hate speech? What do you say to that?
Well, the greatest test of such a matter, you'd agree with me, is for the court to say, you did very well, Mr. Roets, by testing it. Now we're showing you that it is contempt of court. And that's why we thought it's important that we go to court with this kind of matter. Because we were clear that we were not asking for a ban. They keep using fake news to say that we asked for a ban. We said that gratuitous display is what should be restricted and regulated, because we are aware that we are a country that needs to then observe some democratic principles, including freedom of expression. Now, when you then go out immediately after the court has made this call, a few hours later, you then decide to then post this flag. It means that you're then saying to the rest of South Africa, like you told me as the CEO of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, well, be strong about it. I'm testing how far we can go because I can. And now we're saying to you as AfriForum, maybe the line needs to be drawn to say, even you are not above the law. All of us need to be observing what's happening in our country. At the moment, with the kind of violence that we have in our country, we cannot have those who believe that they're above the law to continue to do what they want to do. Our state apparatus must take action against people like Mr. Roets and the criminals, other criminals who are doing the kind of crimes, committing the kind of crimes that they're committing in our country, including killing women and abducting children, and even attacking non-national shops, etc. All these are part of us building a democracy that knows that the law applies to all of us, including those who believe that they're above all of us.
And just after that ruling was given, we saw AfriForum say that they would want to engage even further with the Nelson Mandela Foundation on that ruling and how to deal with this issue even further. Has there been communication between the foundation and AfriForum since then?
What transpired is immediately after that decision was made, I extended a hand of friendship to Mr. Roets. Almost ran over to extend a hand of friendship to say we would like to engage further, only to have him a few minutes later on the steps of the court saying he disagrees with this court decision and he will take action that he needs needs to be taken against the Nelson Mandela Foundation. And then he proved it, because a few hours later then he posted that. So there hasn't been any engagement. We're still hoping that the law will take its course, and as part of the law taking its course, we will ensure that he feels the pinch of the law.
And I mean, Sello, we saw even with the Adam Katsavelo's case, a lot of people saying, why is this matter even going to court? Why is it important for this to be, tried and tested in a court of law when these conversations are happening in people's communities, amongst their friends, amongst their colleagues, these conversations of racist comments being made towards black people? But why, to you, is it important that there be, a kind of set rule that is in court for these type of matters to be dealt with?
One of the things that I said in court, in the court papers, was that my grandmother was called a baboon by little white kids when she went to court to work. Whenever it was the school holidays, she would then be pelted with stones and called with them singing "Dako Mabobeyan," there comes a baboon. Then my grandmother would feel so disempowered. I was called the K word, walking in this little town of Stelfontein in the northwest, by two white boys who came around, and I was walking with my brother. I had to feel invisible at that moment. Just keep walking, because had you taken any kind of action, the state apparatus was built in such a way that you would be jailed for even saying a word to a white person. That time has come that for us to then say, it's not enough for us to keep saying, let's keep negotiating for a better treatment of black people. Let's empower a domestic worker to know that if you see this flag displayed in the home of your boss and you feel that it's hurtful, you must be empowered to go to the Human Rights Commission and say, this should not happen. They should remove that flag. And I think it's to empower those that in the past were not empowered. My grandmother was never empowered to be able to take that kind of action. And today we are empowered enough to be able to not only to go to court, but to then say enough is enough.